Round 15 comes to Singapore, and the first race in which Sebastian Vettel could clinch the championship if he wins and Hamilton finishes lower than 7th. Basically 11 points more would seal in the title. This is the Marina Bay street circuit, where last year Michael Schumacher pretty much dominated it from pole, setting the fastest lap and winning by a big margin. Interestingly, that was his first race of his final four with FJR, and the final four of his career. Q1 saw Mitchell again make it through, the expensive Andy Racing, and AJ and SF1. So in the news for this race, Dark Wolf will retain Genet for 2008. This makes it the 7th season in a row that Genet has teamed up with Dark Wolf. The record is 8 seasons, and that was Jean Alesi for FJR between the 1989 season and the 1996 season. 2 more seasons would see Genet break that record. Also in the news, the AFIA have announced some technology changes, and traction control and launch control will be banned for 2008. The turbo will now become own engine, so next season we could see X-Elite just become their own engine. And also new technologies, including the front bridge wing, which aims to increase downforce, a vented nose cone which reduces drag and increases BHP slightly, and the side pod mounted mirrors, also to increase downforce. But these technologies are only available whilst the team has owned cars, so that's bad news for X-Elite and Mitchell, for instance, and good news for pretty much all the others. Also in the news, Shannon have announced Maldonado and Senna for next season. Originally Maldonado was going to race with STV Racing in the FF1M Asia, but Shannon have decided that he is ready for the FF1M season, as Vettel goes through the Singapore sling there. Now the German is under pressure. His last few races have not delivered the results he had hoped for, but this race at least he can clinch the World Championship with 2 more races to go. However, Hamilton is on the charge. He's only 14 points behind. At the moment it's Liuzzi who holds the fastest time. He is left without a drive for next season, so Liuzzi needs a very good performance if he's going to get with another team. X-Elite have 1 driver remaining, as do Dark Wolf, to sign. And in FF2M Asia, the entry lists have opened, and GRJR Racing are a new entrant. They thought they were going to enter Darkfire, but X-Elite have decided to enter under Darkfire, and they declared the name first. The team boss of X-Elite, James Whiteley, was reported to be unhappy at GRJR Racing's attempt to use the Darkfire name. Meanwhile, back to the on-track action, as Liuzzi, with 17 minutes into the session, aims to beat Sebastian Vettel. Look, he's got some traffic in front of him, but his split times have shown improvement so far. Who's that in front of him? Is that a Mitchell or is that Liuzzi's teammate? It doesn't really matter because he's in the pits. Round the final corners goes Liuzzi. Crossing the line to go second, just less than half a second behind. Clean goes 9th. E-Racing have struggled in qualifying recently. They started the season so well, but recently they've been sort of qualifying in the midfield, and there's another example. Kubica just goes 15th. It may be hot in Singapore, but there's still there's still some cold brewing round as it made its way to my nose, but nevertheless, this commentator shall persevere with the job. Pantano crossing the line for only 15th. Pantano's been going very well. He's now overtaken Rosberg for 4th in championship, despite not having a win so far this season. And there is Nico in 5th. He's suffered some pretty bad reliability. He's had 6 retirements altogether, although 2 of them were not mechanical related. He suffered a suspension failure in Malaysia. Then he suffered it was a crash in Imola, followed by another crash in Austria, as Buemi across the line doesn't improve. And then Rosberg also had a throttle problem in Monza that put him out of the race. And then as Hamilton goes quickest, Hamilton goes 3/10 quicker, but now Vettel's on another attempt. As I was saying, Rosberg, he had an engine failure in Spa and another engine failure in Hockenheim. Those 2 races historically hard on engines, so the BMW in Rosberg's car was pushed to the max. Round the little Singapore sling, left, right, left. An accident there last year caused the race to be red flagged and completely restarted. I wonder if we'll see something similar again this time. It's the first time in history that FF1M had the AFIA race control had to red flag the race, so very, very unusual thing to happen, as Vettel he's a 10th down on Hamilton. And I should mention also that Pedersen have made this race, and they welcome back Neil Yarney after his accident in Nürburgring, where he thought he was a helicopter pilot or racing for the Red Bull Challenge, but he's back and driving for Pedersen. As Vettel crosses the line, can he beat Hamilton? No, he goes second, 1.5 tenths down. So Hamilton looks comfortable here. As Raikkonen, 1.6 seconds down. He's a driver struggling in this weekend, and I expect his MRD to do well here, being a track that doesn't put much emphasis on engine power. As he goes underneath the grandstand after this left-hander. It's a very technical, slow section there. Right, left, left, right, then right, left again, as they go into the fast left-hander, which makes the final corner. What can Kimi Raikkonen do? 17th quickest. And here's Sebastian Buemi entering that final sector now. Not sure if he has a drive for next season, but he is a young driver, a young upcoming one. Left again, and onto the start finish straight. This looks like a slow lap here, and it's 22nd. Out of 22nd. 20th for Ralf Schumacher. And here's the starting grid for Singapore. An on-form Hamilton takes pole position by half a second from Vettel. Hamilton with the qualifying tyres now, making good use of that around this twisty circuit. It's an all-Shannon second row with Liuzzi ahead of Button. Good effort from Liuzzi. Rosberg third ahead of Alonso, yet to get qualifying tyres. Trulli 7th. De La Rosa, great effort from him to get to 8th. Chinane's on to complete the top 10. It was a poor session for Tornado, their drivers 14th and 16th. And Yarni in his first race since Nürburgring down in 21st. At least he's ahead of Buemi though. And here is the start of the race, and Hamilton gets away, but Vettel gets away well as well. But Hamilton leads into the first corner, and there's some big bunch of brake lockups. I think a car's spun there. Who is it? It looks like a Mitchell, who's completely the wrong way around the track, and it's Wirtz. Meanwhile, Button took Liuzzi into the first corner, but Liuzzi wants that position back as Rosberg gets overtaken round the outside by Pedro Della Rosa. So a good start from Della Rosa. And Bourdais up to 8th from 12th, and look at that! The contact between Yanni and Boemi, and that's blocked the track as Hamilton leads as he goes into the series of 90-degree right-handers. Should say Bourdais had a great start from 12th on the grid to go 8th. This is the championship battle on the track. If it stays like this, then the difference would be 10 points. If they do finish first and second all the way through to the last 2 races, then Vettel would win the championship by just 2 points. Hamilton leads still, and as Alonso takes 4th from Liuzzi. Fernando Alonso entering his last races for Pedersen before he moves to FJR for next season, looking to end this, I'd say, difficult season on a high. And here's Rosberg looking to take back Della Rosa's 6th place, but he's not challenging at the inside there. And that's both Tornadoes up there, so they've had a flying start. They're up in 9th and 10th from 14th and 16th on the grid as Kubica runs wide trying to overtake an X-Elite, and the X-Elite regains that position. As we look at Rosberg taking Della Rosa coming out of that turn there before the series of 90-degree corners, and in fact Della Rosa's slowing down with a problem. He's got a problem. What a shame for Della Rosa. He qualified so well and made a great start as well. There's Trulli overtaking him, and that'll be Zonta next, and Genet. Into the pits comes Della Rosa as Zonta looks to be under pressure from Genet. Genet takes it but runs wide as well as Zonta. You've got to be careful you don't make contact, and there was contact. There was a dodgem in there of Ralf Schumacher as Kubica tries again on the X-Elite but runs wide, and the X-Elite takes it back. And this is Alonso looking to get into the 3rd place from Jenson Button, as they're both already 8.6 seconds behind Hamilton. It really is about the championship battle for the win now, Hamilton and Vettel. As Button takes a defensive line into turn 5 or 4, that's turn 4, and that's put Alonso right behind. It's Toyota power versus Renault power. And Jenson Button defends cleverly. Genet looking at a Tornado for 9th. That's an MRD, sorry. Is that Kimi Räikkönen? If it is Räikkönen, then that's a superb start. But I would anticipate it'd be Glock. As Alonso, I think they're now 11 seconds. They lost 3 seconds in 1 lap whilst they're battling. They've got to be careful that Liuzzi doesn't catch them up as well, make it a 3-way battle. And here's lap 6, and is Alonso up on the inside now? Yes, he is. Has he gone too fast? Very fast. And he's hit the barrier there. Seems like he doesn't know how to rejoin the track. What are you doing, Fernando? Clean now battling with an X-Elite. He's going to run wide. It's exactly like Kubica's battle with the X-Elite earlier on. And that's Kubica making contact with a Mitchell at the Singapore Sling. It's okay. And is that Della Rosa or Hamilton behind? It's Della Rosa, because Hamilton has just crossed the line to set a new fastest lap. So De La Rosa flying on new tyres. And Kubica still behind the Mitchell of, I'd imagine, Buemi. Yeah, it is Buemi because Verts is out of the race already. I mean, Buemi feeling the need to defend into the last corner there, which will have compromised his run into the first corner. Kubica's going to outbrake him. And he's kept it on track, good driving. And in fact the Mitchells disappeared. And ooh, De La Rosa getting close as well. Here's Mark Webber in 8th place. With the Mitchell rejoined from a pit stop, and he's punted Mark Webber off. So that's poor driving from the Mitchell, and Webber needs to rejoin, otherwise he's going to lose a heap of time. And another reliability problem for Nico Rosberg in 5th place, and his engine's blown up. This has not been Rosberg's season at all. It started off so well with his win in Australia, and it just hasn't been going right since, and he's pulling off now. Pulling safely off. So once again, Zonta looks to be the only challenge for points for FGR, and Scott Speed's engine's blown up. The turbo getting too much, which will, the turbo will soon be own engine. And Lewis Hamilton in traffic. Vettel's just made a pit stop because it says he's 0.6 behind, but there is Vettel. And they're approaching to lap Zonta. And Vettel's engine's gone! Sebastian Vettel's engine's blown up! And he's smashed the car in frustration there. It's a water leak. So Lewis Hamilton looks like he's going to take another massive chunk of Sebastian Vettel's championship lead. And Christian Klien's pulling off from 6th place. Parking awkwardly there. And Pantano trying to lap a Dodgem. No, that's Bourdais, sorry. Pantano and Bourdais for 3rd place. And Hamilton has got a absolutely insane lead over Jenson Button. It's nearly a minute, and it's only lap 25 or 26. Kubica now hounding Liuzzi. Kubica yet to stop, so looks like it's going to be a battle between 2 and 1 stops. Pantano looks like he's just made a pit stop because his graphics just gone from 0 to 1 on the stops. Now we'll see whether he can rejoin ahead of this battle. But meanwhile, it's Hamilton who leads from Jenson Button. Jarno Trulli up to 3rd place for X Elite. Pantano 4th, Bourdais 5th. And that was never going to work out, Robert. And as a result, you've lost momentum behind Liuzzi. But he's going to close up behind again, and Hamilton pits. He makes his first pit stop on lap 28. So obviously he's going to rejoin ahead of Button, but will he be able to go to the end on just one more tank of fuel? I don't know. Anyway, we're still looking at this battle for 6th place between Liuzzi and Kubica. As I go round the War Memorial. And then the left-hander before the Singapore Sling. And looks, is he going to challenge into that corner? He is. There's nearly contact there. And Liuzzi pulls away again. And look behind, Raikkonen's closing in on this battle as well. So we could have a 3-way battle for 6th place, unless Robert gets a shift on. Go past Anderson Bridge. Left-hander, and then back straight into the right-hander. Just getting close, but there's no way past in this section. But Liuzzi defending there, he feels Kubica's presence behind him, and the pole wants to make his presence clear by overtaking him for 6th place. And Robert in fact pitting, so he's had enough behind the Shannon driver. As we look at Raikkonen passing Liuzzi, who goes off track, and behind them is Della Rosa. Now where's Liuzzi gone? He's dropped behind Genet and Ralf Schumacher. The team telling Della Rosa to pit at the end of the lap. But he is going to make a move on Kimi Raikkonen, and having to lift off there with Della Rosa, I mean, it's a bit risky for him. And that's Liuzzi off. He's reversing. You better be careful, Tonio, that you don't reverse into the path of another driver. But he's rejoined now. That's front wingless. He's got no front wing. So whatever you did in that battle with Raikkonen and Della Rosa, you've clearly buggered your own race up. And that's Alonso in 9th, challenging Trulli. I think Alonso's on a 2-stop, but I'm not sure about that, because Trulli's made a pit stop and has rejoined ahead of him. And certainly Trulli could go to the end of the race if he wished, and by the pace of him and Alonso, looks like that way, but there's contact. But Alonso's through as Liuzzi pits for a replacement front wing. And Lewis Hamilton's engine's blown up! So the chance to gain a load of points in Vettel has gone up in smoke! The BMW engine is fragile. But this almost certainly means we're going to get a new winner of 2007. And he's shut the engine off. That is heartbreak for Hamilton, and that could cost him a championship. This is massive drama at Singapore, but now Jenson Button takes the lead for Shannon. Eventually, because Jenson is a minute behind Hamilton. 1 minute and 15 seconds. Confirmation Hamilton is out of the race. And Marc Genet's engine's gone as well. So both Dark Wolves out. There is Genet, being pushed back by the marshal. And here is Jenson Button going to take the lead. But he's got Pantano looming in his mirrors. So what looked like a walkaway from Lewis Hamilton has turned into a good battle for the lead between Button and Pantano. Both have yet to win this season. In fact, there is Pantano closing. He's only half a second behind Jenson. A win would certainly be a massive boost for Pantano, because Rosberg is also out of the race, and he could leap well ahead of Nico, the reigning champion, as they go down in towards turn 5. Gap down to 0.3 of a second, but I don't need numbers to tell you that. You can see it for yourself right there. Pantano right behind Button's gearbox. And let's not forget that Pantano started 16th on the grid, so it's been a superb drive from Giorgio. As they go around the awkward little left-right-left chicane, or another right-left chicane over the Anderson Bridge, and into a left hairpin. It is tough on the drivers this race. It looks like the Shannon's got better traction than the Tornado, coming out of that corner at least. But the Tornado definitely looks like the faster car. I wonder where Pantano's going to make his move. Surely his best bet would be either into turn 1 or into turn 6. We've seen moves with contact into the Singapore sling, that's turn 10, but I wouldn't recommend that when you're battling for the lead. And it's not close enough, is Giorgio. So Jenson Button coping well. Pantoner's got better brakes by the looks of that. As they approach an MRD to lap. In the slipstream into turn 6. Jenson trying to defend, but he defends well. So Pantoner's really going to have to push hard if he's going to take his first ever win. Not just of the season, but in FF1M altogether. Jenson Button also looking for his first win since Japan 2003, I think, when he was driving for MRD. So yes, it has been a while since Button has won a race. 14 laps to go. Can Pantoner do anything about it? Can he do anything about the Red Bull liveried Shannon? As they enter the series of 6 90-degree corners, including one that goes underneath the grandstand, which they're approaching now. Left, under the grandstand, right, out of the grandstand and back into daylight, or night time, as it's a night race. And it doesn't look like Pantoner's close enough going into turn 1. Yeah, the gap's been stable every lap around 0.4 of a second, so his best chance looks like going into turn 6. Rounding turn 5. As he gets into the slipstream, we're on board with Giorgio now. And he's not close enough. Jenson Button is holding on for the moment, but no, he's not! Pantoner takes it on lap 51. Literally just caught by the TV cameras. And this is a replay of it. Button defends into turn 1. He's adjusted he's compromised his own line there. And Pantoner's right behind him. We go around turn 5, Pantoner will get in the slipstream, and this is the move that puts Pantoner in the lead. Goes to the outside, but then he goes to the outside again, but then he dummies him on the inside, and Pantoner takes the lead. Gets it slowed down well enough. So Tornado look to be heading for their first win since 2002. Wow, it's been a dry spell for Tornado. I never realised it's been that long. As Alonso challenging Robert Kubica for 6th place. Into the braking zone, and he's done him. He's done what Kubica and Clean have failed to do, and that's complete a successful overtake into turn 6. Meanwhile, both Dodgems run in 3rd and 4th, so it's a superb race for them. And Ralf Schumacher started 20th on the grid. He's made his way up to 4th. Now Alonso's not finished yet. He's looking at Jarno Trulli's 5th place. Can he do it into turn 6? He's certainly looking on the inside, but Trulli defends. It's 3-time champion versus 4-time champion. 7 world champions between these two, so they obviously know how to race. We know how good the X-Elite is in a straight line, so Alonso's going to have to do it in the corners. He's going to have to get close up right behind in this corner, and he has done. Alonso's in the slipstream. Again, Trulli defending very well. And Alonso better be careful as Kubica is still behind him. He's in the slipstream now into turn 1. but Trulli defends again, and defends successfully. Round turn 4 again, in the slipstream again. It just seems to be this corner here where, but he's on the inside. No, he's not. It just seems to be that right hand kink that's causing Alonso some difficulties in trying to overtake Jarno Trulli. Round the left hander. He's in the slipstream again to the Singapore sling, but as Trulli defends a little bit, just to let Alonso know that you can't overtake into that corner, because as we've seen during the race, there has been contact. He's definitely closer into turn 1 this time, as they enter their 57th lap with only 5 laps to go, but again Trulli defends. So Alonso, it appears, is stuck behind Jarno Trulli. He's going to have to try something a little bit different to try and get him here. He's in the slipstream again. Pulls out to the left again. He's up the inside this time. He's got him. Alonso's taken the position away from Jarno Trulli up to 5th place. And now Trulli's got Robert Kubica right behind him. So it looks like Trulli's going to lose another position, and Kubica's trying up the inside. Trulli defending very aggressively, but he's ran wide. Trulli's ran wide off the track. Rejoins in 7th place, but well ahead of Kimi Raikkonen. So it looks like there will be points for Trulli, but there's going to be a hackload of points for Giorgio Pantano as he rounds the penultimate corner into the double fast left-hander. This is his final lap. Rounds the corner, and Tornado take a superb win for Pantano. Survival of the fittest, and the fittest was Pantano. Jenson Button comes home 2nd, ahead of Bourdais and Ralf Schumacher, both Dodgems, 3rd and 4th. Superb result for them. Alonso 5th, Kubica 6th, Trulli 7th, and Raikkonen in 8th. De La Rosa fought back to 9th, but it was no points for Shake and Bake. And in fact, no points for Dark Wolf as well, as both of their cars retired. This could have seen Hamilton take 12 points away from Vettel, but his engine just wasn't up to it, and the gap remains at 14 points. Kubica now under pressure from Pantano for 3rd in the championship, and Rosberg pretty lonely, and may come under some threat from Klein for 6th place. Meanwhile, the win elevates Tornado up to 4th in the Constructors' Championship, as Dark Wolf hold a 25-point lead over Guy Racing. Shake and Bake, 3rd place, still in the hunt for the championship, but it's looking a bit out of reach for them. See you at the next race at Fuji.